Come on.
welcome everybody to another episode of Shoot the Shit. I'm your host, Khan. But for today, for some reason, I'm going to go by the new name of AKA Swole Squirrel. Here with another episode today on Friday, August 14th. And with me, as always, is my partner in crime, Mr. Two Beers. What's up, sir? Oh man, can I not hear you, sir? Are you there? Oh, I guess he's gone.
Not
He's
at all,
on.
man. How's it going?
Gee, we're on the new platform and it already begins, man. I mean, what the heck? What are
I'm
we
here.
doing? Are you sure? Oh man, dude, I am so
Uh-oh.
off. Dude,
Some
we are so
technical
off.
difficulties.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
dude. It's like,
I don't hear
jeez,
him.
dude. What the heck are we
You don't hear
doing
me
here?
either?
I hear you. I think
No, I hear him.
Khan's muted on my
Yeah,
end.
you're muted.
How am I muted?
Let me type that in the chat.
Oh, okay, there we go. So no, the chat can hear me. You guys can't hear me. I apologize. So yes. Oh man, technical difficulties, man. Try a new platform and already fumbling the ball. My goodness, folks, what are we doing here?
It happens.
So yeah, we're back again with another episode of Shoot the Shit on a different platform today. And yeah, for some reason, dude, we are way behind. Today is not episode 29. What are we doing today? Oh man, I tell you, folks, I apologize. So I'm not used to all this, but yeah, no guests today, folks. No nothing. It's just us, the normal members. There we go. Everything is there, and we don't have a ticker. I guess we shouldn't show the ticker, right? Because we don't have anything for YouTube per se.
Nope.
So let's make that go bye-bye. All right, now we're live, so now we can start going to the regular stuff. My goodness, I apologize, folks. Welcome to all in chat, especially Special Says, welcome to you.
Hey.
Thank you for coming to another episode of Shoot the Shit. We're normally on Twitch as every Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, but this week, the Node did something different. All streams for just this week only, at least for right now, will only be on YouTube. So our stream tomorrow will also be on YouTube, but we'll be back again, maybe on Twitch by next week. We'll see. We'll see how everything goes. But not a lot of topics, but before we go to that, I think you, Mr. Two Beers, you have the opening monologue today to address our audience. How about you tell us what you're going to speak about, and then I'll just shut up and go on mute right now.
No problem. So today it's gonna be pretty short, but I just want to talk about something called the spoonful of sugar method. And I'm not being preachy or anything like that, but it's just kind of like one of those things where you to be aware of any type of content you consume, including the friends that you make, the people that you surround yourself in. And what I mean by that, basically, what the spoonful of sugar method is, it's a it's a way to earn your trust and get you into something that you may have not originally believed in, or a thought process that you may have not thought that wasn't your original way of thinking. So it's one of the ways that a lot of people will, like anybody from gangs to extremist groups, like for people who are extreme, they're looking to radicalize somebody. It's like there's so many different types of groups out there that do it. So what you do first is basically you find common ground with a person, and it could be anything from cartoons to comics to movies to video games, and it's like you make that person feel welcome. You find common ground. If they're an outcast, you make them feel like they have a place at home. And then you just slowly start sliding your ideology in, your ideas, and before you know it, the person may be conflicted. They may kind of feel like what you're saying is wrong, but at the same time, it's like you're their friend. You've been there for them, so before you know it, your ideology can become their ideology. So it's like one of those things where I feel like a lot of youth get misguided the wrong way. Even adults, like what just starts off as like a friendship and a place to belong, can end up going down a extremely dark path. And as I said before, I'm going to make this short, so let me cap it up here. So what I'm basically saying is like this is probably something that you've always heard from your parents and elders and things like that all the time. Like never sacrifice yourself, always be your own person. Like if somebody that you've become friends with, and if even is somebody that you care about, if they're leading you down to something or they're making you think about something that makes you feel that like your red flags and stuff go or starts going off, it's okay to take a step back to view everything from afar, see if this type of person or this type of group is actually still good for you. So yeah, like I said, short but sweet, and that's it.
Cool. Thank you very much. Anything you want to add to that, GNS, before we move over to the foolishness?
No, not really. It's pretty straightforward, and I appreciate that.
Awesome,
No problem.
awesome.
Thank you.
Interesting that you were going to go there. I was going to go with a totally different thing, but oh yeah, we don't have to have the bar. But right now, showing what we have right now, we'll get into foolishness. Next week's monologue is going to be very interesting, but currently what we have here.
I was going to get all super political with it and like veins popping out of my head and neck and shit and spit everywhere. But like, no, let me be calm. Let's have a chill stream for YouTube. Let's keep it fun, right?
Yeah, it's definitely keep it fun. So what we have here play right now is Vampire Masquerade. It's a game, and this is part of our first topic. So Vampire Masquerade, a game that I've been personally looking forward to trying. I've never had a chance to play the tabletop Vampire Masquerade. I've heard so much about it, and the one on the PC, I've been tempted to get to try out. But seeing the second one, I was like, all right, let me wait for it. But it's been delayed till 2021, which, of course, brings sadness to my heart because I can't wait to jump into this title and definitely give it a try. But I'm going to start off with you, GNS. How do you feel about Vampire Masquerade being delayed?
I think it's part of what I now call the Halo effect, where if a game doesn't look a certain way or if it's not at a certain standard or level, they're starting to push them back. And I think this game is ready to go, it's ready to roll out, but a lot of people were complaining about the way it looks, the graphics and everything. So I think that has a big, if you see this game again, I'm pretty sure it's going to have a big graphical overhaul, which is whack for the fans that don't really care about it. But I mean, about the look of it. But now we have to wait until sometime next year. And I'm willing to bet it'll probably be fall of next year.
Yeah. All right, T-Beards. Your thoughts on Vampire Masquerade being delayed?
As long as if it's being delayed because it's not finished, I'm all for it. So it's like if they're polishing it up, if they're adding a few bells and whistles, even if they're getting the fidelity right, I'm sure that all of us are so sick and tired of games launching and then getting a 1-day patch that's the same size as the game itself, letting you know that the game wasn't finished, or the game launching with a bunch of bugs and stuff like that. So if they're polishing it, tweaking it, getting it right, and it's not at the cost of like killing the people who are working on it, yeah, I'm all for it. Delay that shit.
Well, I can't argue with that, right? I definitely can't argue with that. But yeah, I mean, I'm set. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of games to play right now, right? And even though this game would probably take priority over most of the stuff that I normally would typically put my time into, I'm still really, really excited from it. And mainly the excitement comes from other people's excitement, hearing so much about the actual game from beforehand. But as you stated, I can't argue with it, right? If the game's not ready, I would rather you give us the best product than the half-assed products. AKA Crucible, a game that I enjoyed a lot, but for some reason in the team game did not even have voice chat or text chat. You couldn't even type to your team. We're going to rely so much on teamwork. You couldn't even type. How do you have a game in 2020 that does not even have the ability to do text chat on the PC? Not console, PC. It makes no sense. So, yes, I agree.
Let us not forget that Street Fighter V for $60 launched with no versus mode, no online play, no arcade mode, and, and not even with all the characters. You basically had people who paid $60 for a demo. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm through with that type
$65
of stuff.
demo.
Yeah.
Like, don't put the game out till it's done.
I'm with you both. I mean, if you had to delay it, then go ahead and delay it. I have no problem with it. It saddens me, yes, because I definitely want to, jump into it. It's I've been looking for a good RPG to really sink my teeth in, and I know there's been a few of them out there, but I really, really was interested and ready for this one. But yeah, if it's delayed, hopefully it comes out better than what it is currently, or at least what they believe it is currently, and hopefully with less bugs. Well, this was actually the only one topic we have in quick updates. Actually, you know what? I'm going to Audible, and I'm going to bring up another quick topic real quick. Let me just real quickly grab the article. I apologize, folks. We're doing this off the cut. We're just totally right then and there. And this is one that Two Beers is kind of familiar with, but let's talk about it because we saw this come up, and I'm very curious to get, especially GNS's thoughts and Two Beer's thoughts. So let's switch over. So coming in right now from Newsarama, we're getting word that DC is now canceling multiple titles come November. Yes, yeah, and I'm curious because I know both of you are comic book heads. I'm not as strong of a comic book head as I used to be. I've kind of haven't bought a trade paperback in a long time, but still, they're canceling multiple titles such as Teen Titans, Young Justice, Suicide Squad, Hawkman, John Constantine, amongst others that are coming to an end in November. So I'm going to start off with you two, Beards. What is your thoughts, real quickly, on Warner Brothers canceling more DC titles and probably DC in the long run outside of probably the big three?
I think it sucks a whole lot. It's one of those things that like the writing's on the wall though. As soon as AT&T came in, like they were going to start like chopping things left and right, and it's like people were saying that like the comic book side of things was going to be safe, but we already knew that shit wasn't going to be the case. So now they're doing what happens normally in big mergers, especially when there's a need to save money, and it makes me it pisses me off because I'm just thinking about all these talented people losing their job. I'm sure some of them will land on their feet at other places, but then it's like there's like titles that people were invested in, and even titles that were making money are getting chopped. So it's like it's I don't know, it's just like it just like sucks all the way around. So I hope DC doesn't get I hope the comics division doesn't get canceled as a whole down the line, or it doesn't become like a skeleton bare bones thing where it's only like doing, as you just said before, like the iconic titles are the only ones that are displayed. Like at the very least, I'm hoping it stays up to like a 50% capacity of what it was, but we'll see. But yeah, this sucks.
All right, I mirror your feelings. Trust me, I mirror your feelings. Go ahead, GNS. What's your thoughts? I know you're big on comics.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, I just started to go. I just started going back to the comic book shop, and I was actually about to pick up four of these titles that are now being canceled. So I'm like, I mean, I'll probably get them in trade paperback form instead of getting them in a pull list or anything. But it's just crazy. It just shows you what happens when big business comes in and starts just screwing with things that so many people love, and it's sad. I'm almost willing to bet, just like Khan said, that it probably will be just the bare bones minimum recognizable characters that are going to be left, and the rest of these characters are just going to be laid to rest. Hopefully they can live in like other mediums like TV and film and video games, just like the Suicide Squad game that's coming soon. But yeah, man, this is just a sign of things to come, I think, man.
Yeah, it's kind of weird too when I look at it because when you look at comic books, especially, and probably Two Beards, and you are probably more knowledgeable than I am in terms of sales. I don't keep up to date on sales for comics and so forth, but you would think, right, when you bring out a new show like Titans or a new video game or movie like Suicide Squad, you would think that those things would then drive up revenue, right? Where people go to the movies, they see a character, or they watch TV, they watch a character. You would think they will want to invest more time into that universe, and they will want to absorb and consume more, other media types to get that information, right? Because after I see a good movie, I know myself, right? If I go and watch a movie, the first thing I want to do is start going online and looking up more about the characters, more about the world, especially if I'm invested, to try to understand and get as much as I can because I enjoyed it so much. So it's very interesting that these are the ones that they're actually canceling, seeing how Suicide Squad has a new movie coming out. Titans, which we'll talk about later, I believe season 3 is still coming out. Where it comes out will be what we discuss later on what platform. But like Hawkman, I understand, right? I don't know how popular Hawkman of a comic book is. I know of the character. I've seen the character. I don't find Hawkman enjoyable, but I can understand something like Hawkman, right? I know you're a fan. Trust me. I know. I know too much. But something like Suicide Squad and Young Justice, especially Young Justice, something that has a big cult following who love the cartoon. It surprised me, but maybe it didn't translate to the actual comic book sales, and maybe that's the issue. I don't know. I wish I could maybe see, what those comic book sales are, and maybe I can make a better analysis on it. But I think it's pretty sad, and unfortunately, this is not the beginning of the end
No,
for things
not
on
at
the
all.
Warner Brothers as we go into our next topic, which is now Warner Media is looking to sell Crunchyroll. Yes, the streaming service for at least $1 billion, which is kind of crazy because with all the weebish out there, you would think that anime is like probably one of the biggest things out there. But I'm guessing this is more of an impact having to do with licensing, but I'm not sure. But I'm going to start off with you, GNS, on this one. How do you feel about Warner Brothers now trying to sell and shop around another one of their products that, AT&T, another one of their products that they acquired under the Warner Brothers purchase?
Uh, Another thing that I really love. I really love anime, and here they go fumbling with it, man. It's crazy. I think what's probably going to end up happening, and hopefully happens, is that it gets absorbed into like Amazon or Netflix or something like that. If they take on, Crunchyroll or roll it into what they already have going, that'd be the safest bets. But I really think they're just pulling at the straws right now, trying to figure out how to make some type of turnaround.
All right, all right. Two Beards, what do you think about them trying to sell them?
I think they're stupid. Um, I think like I don't know how many times I can like beat the horse over the head on how dumb I think AT&T is. But even when you're saying you have to see numbers, you don't have to see any numbers. They're not like in everything they're doing is making no sense. And I think right now they're trying to sell as much stuff as possible to try to catch up with this 150 billion dollar debt that they have after acquiring Warner Brothers. And it's crazy to think that they would like take on something that huge without having a long term plan to handle the windfall of debt that would coming with making a purchase like that. So it's like now they're just scrambling. Like right now, you have Crunchyroll basically gives them, I think the article said 3 million unique users who are paying $7.99 a month, and that's on top of all
Correct.
the people. That's on top of all the people that's probably way past that who watch the service for free with advertisements. So they're raking in money from advertisements as well. So it's crazy that you would just cut off that sort of revenue just because you're scrambling trying to pay this $150 billion debt that you should have basically already automatically told the stockholders that hey, we're going to have this dry period catch up, but we've acquired so much things that are going to basically print money, and we'll probably be in the green by next year. But no, they're trying to do all that now. So like there's a lot of different companies that could do well by picking them up. But they said that Sony was interested, and since Funimation and and Crunchyroll used to have a relationship with each other, if Sony does end up buying them, that would be a nice seamless transition. Because they'll be working with a company they've already worked with before, since Sony owns Funimation. So it would be pretty. It'd be pretty cool if they just went back under Sony's umbrella, even though any like Netflix, Comcast, Disney Plus, like any company should be happy to have a powerhouses like Crunchyroll under their belt, except AT&T. But they I think they'll land well wherever they go to.
Okay. And a special says in our chat, once again, definitely come in, join the chat when we're live, be part of the conversation. Special says media entertainment companies make the dumbest decisions, and I can't argue with that. I mean,
we agree.
It's 100% correct. Nailed it. But here's the thing. Let's take a look at it right now. And I think you brought up some good points. One, I highlighted what you said with Sony, with Funimation, but let's look at the one thing that the article stated that you did bring up too, Beers. Crunchyroll 2 weeks ago announced that it surpassed 3 million paying subscribers worldwide and has more than 70 million registered users. And that's in the USA.
Yeah, that's not including international. Yeah.
Now, I understand. COVID has fucked up a lot of these companies. Trust me, I understand. But with that said, you would think that people who can't go out to see movies in the movie theaters would be more inclined to stream entertainment, seeing as they're stuck inside due to a pandemic. So you would think that groups and pages like Crunchyroll would be more valuable, as people are streaming more content as they can't physically go out to watch content. And to my understanding, anime is just as strong as it was before. You know, when we were growing up, I mean, anime was on the uprise, but like now, where it's people are playing ayayayaya gifs, and you see nothing but weeb and waifu icons and all this other stuff. I could go on Twitch right now, and there's tons and tons and tons and tons of anime related stuff, right? I could pull up streams where people are doing nothing but even playing anime music. I mean, anime is still huge. And I don't understand how something that has 3 million paying customers, 70 million customers who are giving you revenue via ads, are somehow is less important than a studio who can't even produce a movie or even get their content out on something outside of streaming. Like, you don't even have to make the content for half of this stuff. This is all being created overseas. Only thing I can think of is that the licensing is just too high. But I don't understand how that can even be possible.
It's just AT&T. That's all you have to think about. They're probably looking at buying a bottle of water company right now because they just like spending money on shit.
Oh my goodness. Say that again, two beers. You kind of cut out. Say that one more time. What the last thing you said?
I said coming next month from AT&T curtains. Like, yeah, you don't know what you get from the company, man.
Oh my goodness.
AT&T curtains with the AT&T logo all over it.
Yep. Some dope boys will have it in their living room.
Yeah. I think you nailed it. I think this $153 billion debt is really gotten to them, and they're just trying to make, as much quick cash as they can.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if 1.5 billion upfront outweighs what you make from it overall, a year, 2 years from now. I
You
mean,
know,
maybe. Okay.
oh, so I mean to cut you off. The thing that's scary is we already knew that they were 200 billion in debt. So now they've chopped it down to 153. So can you imagine how many jobs they've cut behind the scenes and how many projects have been axed to get it from that 200 down to that 153?
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff that hasn't come out yet. Well, a lot of stuff that hasn't come out in the news that they've gotten rid of yet. And I'm like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah. I don't get it. I
See?
just. I, like I said, we don't have the numbers, right? Maybe they're seeing decline. Maybe they were at, 7 million paying customers and it fell down to 3, and they're figuring, they want to get rid of it while the iron's still hot.
I
I
just
have
think
no
they're bad.
clue. Say that one more
I
time.
hope. I just think they're bad at business.
Yeah.
I too hope to be dumb enough one day to run a $1 billion company. But
GNS, I
like,
don't know if you said anything. You're on mute, sir. Okay, I guess GNS didn't say anything. I just wanted to make sure. Uh, all right, so
Had no idea I was on mute.
oh yeah, that's no problem. Did you want to say anything before we move on?
No, you guys knocked it out of the park. I agree with both of you guys, man. It's just, it's crazy, man. It's
No
crazy.
problem. So next article, I believe YouTube Ears brought this in. This is coming from BuzzFeed. Yeah, remember, folks? I don't know if everybody remembers per se, real quickly, but there was a darker Bel Air back in the day, which I won't say was darker. I guess it was more more unique to this
More
time frame.
grounded.
Drama. Yeah, it was grounded. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for, GNS. Thank you, grounded. And it wasn't the normal. It didn't have the normal sitcom feel that you would see back, in the '90s with the original Fresh Prince. And a lot of people liked it. I remember this came out. And a lot of people pushed it over to Will Smith and other people. And now it looks like they're looking into actually turning it into an actual new series, an actual reboot of the series. So I'm going to start off with you, GNS. Do you think we really need a more dramatic, darker retell of Fresh Prince of Bel Air?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
What 100% am for it, man. This looks dope. As I don't know what, man. This is gonna be dope, man. I think it might have a few slight comedic moments, but it's gonna be when I look at it, it reminds me of like Atlanta, but serious. You know what I mean? Has like a really serious tone to it. I'm here for it, man. Hopefully it gets picked up. I know it's being shot by different networks and streaming services, so I'm all for stuff being told in a different way, in a different light, and I don't really think that's been done a whole lot. So yeah, I think this would be dope.
Not done a lot. How many remakes have you missed?
No, not remakes, but remakes done in a different
Reimaginings.
tone.
Gotcha.
Right, yeah.
I'm already messing with you. Yeah, that's good. Your thoughts on this?
all right. One thing, it was actually GNS who brought the topic up for this one, and secondly, like at first I was like, I don't know if I really want a dramatic version of Fresh Prince. Like, but then it's like the more that I read into the article and like, because I did think the trailer was good when I first saw it, but then it's like the more that I read into the article, and then actually how they broke it down about how they could basically retell every episode from the series. Well, and like but they can actually just like tell it from the actual serious points, like because like there was a couple episodes that were real serious and well, not more than a couple that dealt with very serious issues in Fresh
Oh
Prince
yeah.
of Bel Air.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
like one of the ones that still rocks me till this day is the one where his dad came back and his dad left him again at the end of the show, and when he like basically like he broke down and like grabbed hugged Uncle Phil, like he was like why he don't want me, man, like
Fire,
yeah,
fire.
so it's like actually imagining the stuff that they went through and like actually seeing it from that new dramatic point, I'm very curious to see how they would handle it. So yeah, I'm on board. I'm with GNS. Like I hope it gets picked up, and I hope it's as good as the trailer makes it look.
Why do I have to be the negative one?
It's always gotta be one, man.
Oh jeez. Why do I have to break it? Okay. All right. I don't hate it, right? I don't hate it. And real quick, special says the double says always gets me. It's dope to see a different perspective at Steph. And yes, I agree. I just don't like all right, for instance, I'll give you an example of one. You have a show like The Cosby's, which was revolutionary and it was really big for its time, right? And then you have The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air later on. You're like, wow, these are these revolutionary, black-led characters, TV shows that is made not only for our community, but anybody can sit down and watch it, right? It's not like Martin where you kind of be part of the community, kind of understanding humor, or a lot of it is well rounded and well open to everybody, right? And then you go with the most recent show, I guess you could say, which is Blackish, right? I want to keep seeing these new shows that redefine it, but maybe somewhat ride off of some of those same subjects or that same, like, I guess, design of a show. Like, how good would Blackish be if it was just a redesign of The Cosby Show? Right? I would rather... It's not so much that I don't want to see this show. I just don't want it to be Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I want it to be something else. And I think that's my main gripe with it. I just want it to be its own entity. Just retelling me the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with less comedy and more drama isn't a bad thing. I would rather see something, that's its own thing, right? And I know there's different, like, people can say, well, Khan, look at a show like Sabrina, right? Sabrina on ABC is totally different than Sabrina on Netflix, right? They're apples and steaks. I mean, they're not. It's not even fruits.
Not even
they're
the
apples
same
and
fruit
steaks.
group, yeah.
They're apples and steaks, right? And I understand, right? And you can do it, and you can get enjoyment out of like the new one and still keep the old one. So trust me, I see the argument for the Fresh Prince, right? And it's not like I won't watch this or enjoy it. I just deep down, part of me just wanted to see it different and not another remake of it. I don't know. Like, for me, I guess it's because I hold Fresh Prince in its own bubble, separate. One of those great things don't ruin my childhood type things. I don't know. I mean, I'm wrong. Either way, I'm going to watch the show. I'm not hating on it to the point where I'm like, oh, this is garbage, this is trash, how dare you. I'm not to that point. It's just that I kind of will wish that we would get it would be its own show and it can make its own footing and become whatever it becomes, not off of the name of Bel-Air being a reimagining of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but off of whatever the writers and the creators create and stand on its own two legs for what it is itself. Like Fresh Prince did for itself, like Blackish did for itself, and so forth. That's basically what I'm saying. And to the Sabrina portion, Sabrina, while it might have been fun, it wasn't, one of those top tier TV shows, the ones that everybody goes, oh my God, do you remember Sabrina? So when you have a show that's like run of the mill, it's fine. But when you have a show like Perry Mason and HBO remakes it, fuck you. But that's just the way.
Way better than the original. Way better.
No man. I'm as a kid, this is all personal. I remember as a kid, every summer with my dad we would go to the local grocery store, get lunch meat. We would sit down. We would watch Perry Mason on TBS or TNT, one of the Turner channels, from like 11 to 12, and then we would go to a place that probably most of you probably never heard of, called West Coast Video. And we would rent a VHS tape, and we would watch a movie.
West Coast Video.
You do? Okay, I didn't know they had them in Maryland.
Yeah, they had a few out here. Yeah.
Okay, and we would rent a bad horror film, watch that.
Hey,
But those are
and
summer
if it was
memories, you know. So go ahead.
if it wasn't for reimaginings, we wouldn't have gotten that fantastic Battlestar Galactica, which was amazing
Very good point.
until it wasn't.
No,
But
no, no, no. Very good point. Very good point.
And let's
That's
not
a very good
forget
point.
that the classic RoboCop remake,
All
way
right.
better than the original.
All right, you know what? You know what? All right, Mega's not in chat. You don't need to say anything. Mega's not in chat. You don't have to. You don't have to be the Mega of the group. Real quickly in chat, Special says that makes sense. There's so many creators making new original pieces of work that are getting overlooked while companies are remaking things. Yeah. So, but I see the argument for both, and Two Beards brings up a very good point. Also, with Battlestar, there's a lot of other shows that became remakes of other shows, and they found more success. So, I agree. I could go either way with it. I could go
it's that
either
one
way
thing
with
where
it.
like why not have both, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it hurts anything.
I
right?
actually would like you. I would like to see more original IP, but it's like as long as it's good, I don't care if they do a remake. Like as long as it's not like a half-ass attempt cash grab or just using the name of a popular property, but shipping out like hot shit on a platter. Like as long as it's actually good, I don't really care.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Like Full House.
I didn't look
I've
at the
never
new Full
seen it.
House.
I never seen it. So
I
was it
can't
crap?
speak on it.
Was it crap?
Okay.
Was it crap, Genus, or?
Yeah, it was
good.
Look, that's
Not everything should be picked back up like you guys said.
You
I
waiting on
respect
that Family Matters reboot?
Oh yeah.
Wait, they're doing a Family Matters reboot?
No, I'm just talking stupid.
Okay. Oh man. So, real quick before we go to the next topic, how would you feel about if Jordan Peele did that dark retelling of Family Matters that they did in the Key and Peele sketch, where Urkel was like the devil?
I'm down for it.
Yeah, I'm actually checking it out.
That's the type of reimagining I'm all about.
Oh, it's funny when you look at Key and Peele. I know I'll go off topic, but if you watch a lot of their shows and their sketches had such a dark take. And
Yeah.
a lot of times I didn't realize it until I rewatched it again. I'm like, wow, this is pretty dark.
He had a lot of dark humor in that show.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
Yes, they did.
Thank you, Jordan Peele.
So the next one is an interesting topic. So it's stating now that DC Universe titles being dropped from Titans and other shows like Harley Quinn. Let's before we go into this, let's talk about DC Universe real quick. And the real question comes from this: your Warner Brothers, you're starting a new client, right? And it's called HBO Max. You're bringing in all your content into HBO Max. You're shutting down all your other services, right? So HBO Go is getting folded into it. Cinemax, all your other stuff is getting folded into it. But for whatever reason, DC Universe is still out there. And I don't understand why, at the time, they did not fold DC Universe customers into HBO Max. But you take their shows away from them, right? Like Doom Patrol, you take away and you put into, DC Universe. DC Universe. HBO Max from DC Universe. You're creating a new Green Lantern TV show that's not going to be on DC Universe. It's now coming into HBO Max. So you have the separate. I just don't understand why they're a year later, or actually, let's go 3 months into HBO Max. Now you're starting to fold DC Universe shows into HBO Max. I'm going to start off with you two beards. Why is DC Universe still a thing?
I was trying to figure that myself. Like we were going off of the whole, just like AT&T, Warner Brothers didn't really seem to know what they were doing, especially the way they were doing their movie properties. But the more I was thinking about it, like, because if you wanted your HBO Max to be like really strong contender, especially right now with us living in the age of like of the majority being comic book nerds and geeks and stuff like that. You would think that they would have just rolled DC Universe into Max. Now, if we're talking like hypothetically that the company is actually making business moves that actually make sense, maybe DC Universe was making money because it's like the only thing different that you could really get on DC Universe was like besides the shows, it allowed you to it gave you a subscription to DC Universe's digital comics as well, which was a thing. So maybe it was making enough money that they couldn't just kill it off. So maybe they're trying to kill it slowly by taking the shows and stuff off of it, and like giving people a reason to jump from one subscription service to another, or to start canceling the subscription service out. So then they have a reason to go back to the board and say, "Hey, it's dropped this much percentage wise, so now we can go ahead and cut it." Like, but then again, that's me talking as if the company ever has ever made any sense. So I don't know.
Yeah, and the only argument I have with you with that is why not just bring it over at the time? You know, just bring it over all your content over to HBO Max, and then just let it quietly die down, or even bring in the DC Comics aspects to HBO Max as a bonus.
Well, say that
To
if you have a
to help transition those customers. Just say, hey, all you customers who paid that year in advance for DC Universe, guess what? You're now rolled into HBO Max, so you get whatever you had on DC Max plus HBO Max for the time left on your subscription.
say that if the people on the board or the stock the people the stockholders maybe they don't see that, and maybe they're looking at it and they're just seeing numbers and they're saying that if DC Universe is making this many numbers, I don't want to take the risk of them being folded into HBO Max and we lose those numbers or those customers. So it might be one of those things where somebody had the decision that, hey, it just makes sense to roll it into Max, but maybe other people who are high up in the company, they just couldn't see it from that aspect. All they were doing was looking at the numbers and being like, if we're making money from both, why are we going to take away one avenue of revenue? And once again, I this is probably all false as well because it's this company that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So
It's
Go
a
ahead,
common
Genius.
theme running.
Go ahead,
It's a common
Genius.
theme running, man. It's a
yeah,
it's AT&T, Warner Brothers, which is owned by AT&T, and DC, which is under. You know what I'm saying? So it's all connected. The trifecta.
the trifecta of bad
Oh
leadership.
God, it's all bad, man. It this is just dumb. At the end of the day, it is really dumb, man. Just like Khan said, it made sense to just roll them over, give them an opportunity to keep what they have plus HBO Max keep what they have as far as like the digital books, transfer the shows over or the shows that they really wanted to keep, and then just keep it pushing. But man, I don't know. It's
See,
it baffles me, man. It literally is making my head hurt a little bit because it
yep. I
doesn't
get
make any
dumber every time
sense.
I try to think about it.
Yeah, it's like you
Yeah.
have X amount of money, you need to recoup this amount. So how about keep some stuff that's gonna help make your company some money in the long run? Just take a hit for a while. Some kind of way they keep growing money. I don't know where they're getting this money from. Maybe they're in the drug trade and we
I
don't
was
know
gonna
about
say
it.
I'm
That's
starting to think AT&T is a drug front. Like I don't know because
for El
they got
Chapo.
yeah. It's the same way I used to feel about Radio Shack back in the day. I don't know anybody who's bought anything from Radio Shack but cable cords and batteries, but somehow they got franchises all across the U.S. Like you couldn't tell me any different. I'm like, okay,
I think you might be right on that, man.
see,
Between cocaine, heroin, and Nick Cannon.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
he had TVs and headphones and stuff in there, man. Come on.
Yep. And tell me if you knew anybody who bought anything, uh, who bought any purchases above $50 from Radio Shack
Nah,
ever.
never in life.
I did.
Same.
I did.
Oh, weirdo.
Okay.
I did.
He's being
wait.
funny,
No. I remember I bought the original Mortal Kombat from Radio Shack on the Genesis.
What?
I'm not
You bought a
yes,
game from
I bought it from Radio Shack. I know it's the craziest thing, but the original Mortal Kombat from Radio Shack. They were the only ones who would sell it to me. I was a kid.
See,
Oh.
there you go.
See? That shows you their dark side right there.
Selling video games, and then on top of that, they sold it to you a kid.
Yep, them rated.
You probably with
Yeah.
your inventory, like somebody at the counter probably sold you that shit from behind the counter. So like,
Yeah, say, hey, Con, come around the corner. I'll sell it to you.
Oh, jeez. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go to the next topic, which is something we talked about before, which goes to show that the rumors that we heard were all false. But currently, right now, it looks like the new film chief Emma Watts over in Paramount thinks that Star Trek should be a priority. and as they try to figure out how they want to reboot Star Trek, unfortunately, Fargo writer Noah Hawley's take on Star Trek, which was probably the newest one that was being put out, is on the back burner, so to say. So, yeah, so we talked about, when we talked about Star Trek, we first talked, it came article probably about a couple months back about Simon Pegg talking about how Paramount really didn't know what they were doing with Star Trek, and the problem that they had and the reason why Star Trek was a failure was because they were pouring way too much money into it, right? So they were pouring like Avengers amount of budget into a Star Trek movie when we all know that Star Trek doesn't need to be that big. But I guess they were trying to make it that, that Star Wars franchise, which begs to question, like, do they understand their product? But that's another discussion. So, but we heard that it was on the back burner, and now it looks like Paramount, I guess, with the success of the TV shows, want to get out a new Star Trek movie, reboot the franchise. Let's get it done. So I'm going to start off with you, GNS. I don't know if you're... I can't remember who the Star Trek fans are on this show. But are you excited to see a new Star Trek a new Star Trek movie?
Well, I was until I found out that the one that I wanted is being put on the back burner. So now I'm not, but because I really like that writer for Fargo, or is that director, writer, one of the two. Either way, I liked his work on the Fargo TV show. So I was looking forward to seeing how that was going to pan out. I wasn't really looking forward to the Quentin Tarantino R-rated Star Trek because I don't want to see naked feet and blood squirting out from everybody the whole movie. So
would have been
cool
amazing.
on that one.
Would have been amazing.
Klingon.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think that one's still on fast track. I think COVID is just slowing it up. But my guy right here, his project gets put on the back burner. I bet you it's the best idea. And I think, if I read correctly, the reason why that one got put on the back burner is because of the premise. Involves a virus killing massive amounts of people. So that might have something to do with his idea
That's
being put on
fine.
the back burner.
That's fine. And the
Might
reason why I
scare
say
folks right now.
I know it may scare folks, but that's the whole point of Star Trek. It always talked about actual issues. It just hid them behind stuff like aliens, but they talked about actual social issues going on. That was the beauty of Star Trek. Go ahead, Genius. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
Oh no, you're good. another thing, I'm also a little. I might be the only one in the world that likes the recent Star Trek movies, but I was looking forward to a continuation of that. But now I don't think that's going to happen either. So I'm just kind of like in standby mode, just like my man right here is on getting this film,
Wait, 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 wait,
this
wait,
film
wait, wait.
project out.
Before I go to YouTube, is what do you mean not happening? You think we're not getting a season 4 of Discovery? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no, no, the films,
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Sorry, you're talking about the
the
films. Gotcha.
Chris Pine.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Those are done. Those are put a fork in it. They're done.
Yeah,
The problem is that their contracts are too huge for them to come back. Um, Unfortunately, that's why the amount of money that it's going to cost for them to make it and the amount of revenue that they'll probably get back, especially now, yeah, you're not going to see those. That's why they have to reboot it.
rest in peace, reboot.
Yes. So, two beers. One, how did you feel about the J.J. Abrams Star Wars films in the Star Trek series universe? And how do you feel about them rebooting it? I don't think you heard what I said, but go ahead.
Oh, I heard what you said. I enjoyed the J.J. Abrams universe, same as GNS. Um, like I yeah, I had a lot of fun with those, so I was waiting to see where they were gonna go with next. I was curious if it was gonna make it up to and we were gonna get to see his version of the next generation to see how they would have handled Picard and stuff like that. But since that's basically done, uh the same thing once again, piggybacking off of GNS. Um, it would have been interesting to see how the Fargo guy did his version, and also piggybacking off of GPS. I have absolutely no desire, no care in the world to see the Tarantino version. Like like yeah, that's basically
Come
like he
on,
said.
man.
Imagine
Like
the dialogue in the Tarantino version, man. It'll be excellent. How great that.
I can imagine it. All right.
Like in the
something
lower
tells me that
decks, the lower decks talking and shit, and then one of them like, "And word, please."
yeah, I'm pretty sure the Klingons will start using it. So yeah, I'm good. So
Kapla,
thank
ninja.
you.
Oh man. I'm
I'm
cool
right.
with it. I enjoyed a lot of the new Star Wars. See, I'm saying it, but that's the way I look at them. But the new Star Trek, Star Wars movies, I thought they were a lot of fun. I thought it was a nice, fun take on the movies. I thought the first one was really good. The second one, we all knew it was Khan. I mean, I know that it was the worst kept secret, but yeah, with Doctor Strange. And then the third one, which I thought was probably one of the better out of the three, which I liked a lot, and I liked the twist in that story itself. But with the third one, I think that was the one that felt more like a Star Trek story more so than the other ones.
Agreed.
I I'm cool. I would love to see. So you bring up a very good point, and I want to get to about the next generation. I want to get to that in a second. Let me get my other thought out first, and I'll get to it, and I'll bring it. We'll bring it back, and I'll ask a question for you for it. But I think Star Trek. The thing about Star Trek is a very important IP, but it's not important from the aspect I think of movies, right? I think if you look at Star Trek, the way Star Trek has always been, you make a lot of good TV series from Star Trek. You get a lot of your ad revenue and TV revenue from Star Trek. And then once they're done, then you move on to the movies, right? And I don't know if just retelling the same stories for older characters is what's best for Star Trek, per se. Like, if you were going to bring up a new movie right now that introduced maybe the Next Generation, right? It was a nice send off from Next Generation, handing the torch over to, say, the Discovery group, right? And I don't want to put spoilers in, but with what's happening on Discovery, you can have that crossover. You can have that crossover. But it's kind of weird because then the Discovery universe we don't know if that's the movie universe that we currently have. Is it the normal Star Trek universe? It's kind of weird where it all lays, where everything is, because they kind of try to make it and tie it back to the original series, but there are stark differences between the two. So it's a little bit confusing. But I think the point I'm still trying to make is I think you need to make movies based off of the TV show that are bigger with well-established characters that people love from the TV show and they're invested in the TV show, rather than making a reboot of the movie of old characters and just doing it. Don't get me wrong. I know there's plenty of money. Star Trek, the first one, made plenty of money, right? I know. Star Trek, the second one, reboot, made plenty of money. Part 3 didn't, because the costs were out of hand. It wasn't well advertised outside of the Rihanna song that nobody even knew was out in the theaters, blah, blah, blah. We went over it 100 times. But the question yes, Rihanna. the question I have for you, and it comes back to it, to what I was stating. Does it make sense that from a Star Trek movie perspective that we have to keep redoing and retelling current famous Star Trek TV series characters? Like, for instance, retelling Next Generation with all new actors that are playing basically all your favorite Next Generation. Voyager with all your Voyager actors and actresses, but just new actors replaying all the characters from Voyager or Deep Space Nine. Is that what you want to see out of your Star Trek movies? Or do you want to see continuations, bigger continuations from the TV series? Or do you want to see something totally new? Like a brand new universe created just for the movies in a different time frame that's outside of everything that they're doing in television. And I'm going to start off with you two, Beards, on that. Which one of the three would you rather see coming out of the new Star Trek?
The Abrams verse is basically kind of it's kind of locked into that, because it's the whole point of it was to basically allow them to retell the Star Wars the Star Trek storyline without stepping on the shoes of the people who grew up watching the original. Like they flat out were able to say that your stories and your old memories are still intact. This is just taking place in the alternate timeline.
I know.
So
that's
this
fine.
This like I'm saying. I'm just saying when
that's what I'm saying. Out of the three, which one you choose? Which one would you choose out of the three?
I personally like seeing the continuity built upon and continue with new fresh stories. Like I like the premise for the pilot of Picard so much, because even though it was familiar, but it was completely telling a new aspect. Like it was showing what happened with his life after being a captain and all these other mysteries and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm more into continuing the story. If I had to make a choice between the two.
Okay, so you're more of, and you said pre-match instead of premise. Is that what you said?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, you make my editing so much harder. But anyway, but if I have it right, you're saying you would like to see a brand new, similar to let's for lack of a better example, we'll say Force Awakens, where you have a whole new group, but maybe you bring in some of the members from the old Star Trek series, just to make an appearance, right? So that's basically what you want to see. So not like Force Awakens, where you're still focused on the Skywalkers, but basically you have a whole new cast, and then you have maybe maybe a Picard show here, a Riker show there, a Cisco. Well, no one knows where Cisco is, but Janeway here and so forth, like sprinkled in within the movies, something like that, right? Maybe Janeway comes in as an admiral and gives a yes or a no, something like that.
Like for instance, like Mandalorian. Like Mandalorian is its own thing, but we know it takes place in the Star Wars universe, and there's even ties to stuff that is going on without it being overshadowed or completely held hostage by it. It's still able to tell its own story, but at the same time giving us the familiarity of that universe, and even like tying in some history for those of us who are tied to the lore and the history of characters. You get little Easter eggs and sprinkles of that in there as well. So it's like that's how I like building upon the existing continuity by and also at the same time telling your own story.
All right. So before I go on to GNS with this question, keep in mind now, movies are for broader audiences than TV shows, right? So
True,
when you
true.
so when you do something like that, you may only be limiting the audience to those who are fans of the show. So keep that in mind when
Oh,
you make
definitely true.
those
True.
type of decisions. GNS, your thoughts? Which one of the three would you rather have? Would you have rather have like the reboot where you retell basically well-known characters with different actors? Would you rather have a what they did in the past where you have maybe one of the TV shows and they make a movie off of one of the current TV shows, or would you like to have something brand new in a different era, different time, but it's still Star Trek?
I would rather have something brand new, something like way far ahead in the future of that universe. I think that would be interesting to see something completely fresh that has maybe a little few remnants of what's happened before, but it's so far ahead that it's on its own type of being. So I'd rather see something like that myself personally.
And for me, I agree 100% with GNS. I kind of brought this up beforehand with Star Trek. I want to see something new, right? We when you look at eras, you have of course original Trek, which was ahead of its time, was brilliant, right? And then we went into the movies, which kind of reintroduced Star Trek enough for them to bring out the next generation, right? So when we get next generation, and then you have basically the next generation bus, right? So that's next generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager, right? And they were all very good shows, each with their strengths and weaknesses, but all very good shows. In fact, I would even put Deep Space Nine as probably one of the best Star Trek TV series that no one really even watched because the first season was so abysmal. But once you get past the first two seasons or season and a half, it really picks up in terms of writing, character, create drama, and everything. Is probably one of the best Star Trek shows. I would put toe to toe almost with Next Generation. I give Next Generation still the edge, but toe to toe up there with Next Generation in terms of storytelling. But
Nice.
and then you have Voyager, and then we move away, and then we have the Enterprise era where they kind of didn't know what they were doing. It was such a swap away from Star Trek to the point that even the intro song was like it had its own music video with lyrics, and everybody was
Yeah.
like, "Don't get me wrong, that's one of my favorite opening songs. I love the song, but it's like, what's this?" And I hate to say it, but the actor, I can't think of his name. I have his face.
Scott Bakula.
Yeah, Bakula. I'm sorry. I think he was the worst choice for a captain. I like Bakula. I love the other show, Quantum Leap, but
Mhm.
for that, whatever. But interesting fact. Interesting fact for everybody before I continue it. The reason why we have the dog that we have was because of Enterprise, so that everybody knows. If you
Huh.
watch Enterprise and you know Bakula's dog, that's the reason why we chose the breed and the dog that we have was because of Enterprise.
Nice.
So
Okay.
and then Star Trek went on hiatus, and then all of a sudden now we have these new series, right? And I think what I want, the new series this season three may give me what I want, but I've said it countless times going back because I'm going on a tangent. I want to go to the 31st century, right? I'm tired of the 23rd, 24th century. I want to go to the 31st century, right? I want people and I want writers to sit down, look at what the world is currently right now, and give us that new technology, right? Start thinking about things in ways that we haven't even thought about, right? Create that new tech that the little kids watching today and the next 20 years are going to reproduce and push out because they saw in Star Trek, right? Just like how we got the flip phones, or just like the little scanners that you rub over your head to get
Or little
temperatures and
data
shit.
pads.
Yeah, everything that we have now, even to the computers and all that we have now, was all it was an inspiration to the young, scientists, inventors, creators to start doing it. Right? We even got to a point where we were even putting data on crystals. Now it's not mainstream, but we were putting data on crystals, right? Even like Star Trek.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to see. I want to see out of the movies. I want to see us get out of this current 23rd, 24th century. Let's go into the 31st century. Tell me what it is. Does Starfleet still exist? If it doesn't, what's happened? What's the new threats? What's happening? Give us that new future. That's what I want to see. You
Would you
know,
be fine from a story told from another perspective, like told from people who aren't part of the alliance, or people who told from a group of Klingon characters or Vulcans, or even one that's from the perspective of the Borg.
So I would love to see Star Trek shows like that, but emphasis on shows, not movie. As a movie, you have to
Mm-hmm.
focus on what everybody is familiar with in terms of Star Trek, and the reason why you have to is because those people who watch that movie, who become fans of that movie, are then going to go to the series, right? So if you're doing Klingons and you're like, oh man, I love Klingons, and the only thing you have is Starfleet shows, it's going to turn people
I,
off, right?
I
So
completely agree.
yeah,
I,
so you
I've
got to kind
I
of in the movie sense, you got to kind of keep it. Unfortunately, Starfleet, the boring.
yeah I also believe that's why the J.J. Abrams did it the way that he did it, because it's like he knew that to put asses in seats he had to go with the familiar characters, but rebooting and doing the alternate timeline allowed him to tell his own version of the characters without stepping on feet, because that's the only, like, he couldn't just go for a brand new lineup of characters for an opening for a brand new Star Trek movie. So it's like that's unfortunately the one of the things where, like, we how a lot of us say that we're sick of reboots and remasters and things of that nature, but like let's take the RoboCop reboot.
Oh god.
If
Oh god.
if it was if it
Who
was not a
fought in the
reboot
war,
of
man?
if it was not a reboot of RoboCop, and it was just like let's just say it was like a high budget movie came out, they marketed it very well, and it was called Cyber Officer. Do you think it would have do you think it would have pulled in as many people as that were pulled in just because they were curious to see how they were going to reboot RoboCop?
No.
No.
Yeah, so yeah, that's unfortunately
But
like
but can I give you a counter argument to it?
yeah, go ahead.
If it was a movie that could stand on its own outside of the name, it wouldn't have this problem. Right? You got to make something that could stand outside of the name on its own 2 feet for the content of what it is. So that if you only have the name of a series to push people to the seats and not what the actual movie is, then you've already failed.
Yeah,
Like the movie should be interesting without the RoboCop name. That's what I'm
I
saying.
agree. I agree, but like there's a lot of movies that are amazing and they do horrible because there are a lot of people out there that won't give it a chance if it's not something that they're familiar with, unfortunately.
Oh no, I agree.
Yeah.
The Live, Repeat, Die, or whatever of the 20 titles you want to call it, Tom Cruise movie that a lot of
That was a
people
dope
didn't.
movie.
Yeah, that a lot of people probably didn't watch, right? Because in one, it had 20 titles and no one knew what the fuck the name of the movie was, and two, something new. Yeah, you do get those, but then also in the sense, it may not did good in the movie theaters, but it got so much word of mouth and it got such a big fan base afterwards that now it's a lot bigger than what it was, right? So a good
Yeah,
movie's a
it
good
sucks
movie.
just like how Scott Pilgrim became a achieved cult status
Perfect
after
example.
leaving the movie theaters, when
Perfect example.
that movie should have did like big bucks at the box office.
I really didn't.
So
I thought that movie was okay when I first saw it, and then I rewatched it. I told you about a month or
mhm.
2 months ago, and I was like, dude, this movie is like one of the greatest movies ever.
Yeah, it's crazy how many people slept on it. I was like, when I was watching it in theaters, I was like, this film is fucking brilliant, and it's like not just not how self aware it was, but how many pop culture things it touched in on. Like it was like the creators are just smart enough to know types of inside jokes that everybody can get. So I'm like, it amazed me that I don't know, maybe if it had came out now that we're in more of a everybody is a geek era now, it would do much better. But like it's still like I was dumbfounded that it did as bad as it did.
Yeah, yeah. I when you were saying that real quick, I know we're still on Star Trek. We're going to move on, folks. Don't worry, we're going to move on. But I was almost thinking about like if you did a really cool science show, right? A sci-fi movie, right? that was set in the future, 31st century, with all this cool stuff. New uniforms that were unlike anything you see in Star Trek. Keep in mind, folks, when you think about stuff like the movie uniforms and you think about all the movie uniforms afterwards, uniforms are going to change, right? So you can have something that is similar, a little bit of callback to Star Trek, but it's not Star Trek, right? And you just had all the stuff and you just call it by whatever the subtitle is, right? Lost in Space, not Lost in Space because that's a movie, but whatever, Galaxy something, whatever you want to call it, whatever the subtitle is, right? And not tell anybody it's a Star Trek movie until they actually go into the movie and they see it and they're like, wait a minute, this group is the Starfleet, this is Star Trek, oh my goodness, right? Let it stand on its own 2 feet, right? Let it be something that's not Star Trek. If you want to do something new, take a chance to do that, see what happens, and then move it from there. Because the movie needs to be able to stand on its own, right? I'm tired of seeing. I don't want to see any more Picard, Next Generation era. I don't want to see where Voyager is going. That's what the TV shows could do. All the TV shows could tell me, and that's what Picard and all those shows are meant for, right? They fill me in what happened to all my favorite characters. I don't want to see those in the movies. I want to see something new, refreshing. 31st century, brand new aliens, brand new conflicts. All new shuttles, all new technology. That's what I want to get.
And this shit would flop hard.
It may, or it may not, right? It may or it may not, because you gotta understand, when you look at the new Star Trek, you've already alienated all the fans because they're like, this is not my Star Trek. You've already started alienating fans. They're like, this is Star Wars in space. Fuck this garbage. Even with the new TV show, there's such a huge divide between OG Star Trek fans and regular fans, right? That you've already alienated. So you've already done that. You're not going to make the old school Star Trek fans happy unless it's old school Star Trek, and that doesn't.
There's something
fly.
out there that exists that I feel proves you completely wrong.
Yeah,
that basically just flat out says that you need to have like stuff tied to the original characters.
And what's that?
And like that would be Halle Berry's Catwoman, one of the the best comic book movies of all time.
All right, so I muted Two Beards. We're not going to go into it. I muted him. He's going to bring up movies that don't exist, where we got to look at fucking Halle Berry doing basketball. Fuck you, Two Beards. You can unmute yourself now, but I muted you, sir.
I was gonna say Doctor Who, but okay.
God, golly, dude. Oh God! All right, let's move on to
I don't
next
know where
time.
I don't know where he pulled that one.
Catwoman. Good golly, Halle Berry's Catwoman. Ugh. Oh man! All right, so jeez. Oh man! Real quickly, Kia Waring, you may want to change your name. Says Discovery, and she brings up a good point.
Let's go.
Yeah, you might want to change it, but yeah, Discovery is it's interesting, but like I said, it separates the fans from old fans from new fans. But real quickly, let's move into gaming real quick. Let's go with the gaming. So it came in that on Animal Talking, the Animal Crossing TV show, which is like, wow, why didn't we think about this? But
so dope, man.
they had an interview with Phil Spencer, and Phil dropped some stuff to say, Halo Infinite, the Xbox Series X, flagship game, has been delayed until 2021. He said a couple of things like, if this was beforehand, we wouldn't make this. We could have put it in parts. We didn't want to do that. But basically, the ultimate choice that they chose was to delay the game. So I'm going to start off with you, GNS. How do you feel about Halo Infinite, 1, being delayed, and 2, do you think this is going to have an impact on the Xbox Series X?
Yes, I think it's going to have an impact on it, on the release. I feel like they knew it wasn't ready. excuse me, for the simple fact of all of the backlash they were getting for once again the graphical look of it. I think I heard some people talking about the frames per second and things like that. So I think they kind of knew that they had to delay it. Um, the only thing that I could see that's going to save their launch is Game Pass. Uh, I think they're. I think we only have like one more exclusive, and I think it's just a launch exclusive. I don't think it's a console exclusive, and that's the Medium, I believe. But pretty much, there's really not a whole lot that's going to be exclusive to the Xbox to warrant people running out and purchasing it day one. So I think it might hurt them. It's just a hurry up and wait and see type of thing. But I'm still gonna purchase mine day one because I'm kind of locked in. I can wait on Miles Morales and stuff. So we'll see how it
Wow.
goes.
Wow. We got a day one Xbox Series X purchaser. Oh man. Two beers. Two beers. As stated beforehand, which DNS said he believes that Xbox is going to basically rely on Game Pass, something that we've often discussed. But what are your thoughts on Halo being delayed and whether or not that's going to impact the Xbox Series X?
Halo, Craig, and Infinite was it was the right call delaying it. Yeah, it was just not a. It's like as much as it would have been like iconic having a Halo launch with an Xbox launch again, like having an actual good looking game that's supposed to be your crown piece showing off the power of the system is much more smarter move. I personally think that something tells me that Hellblade 2 is actually going to be the big show off, showing off what the game can do more than anything else that comes. The system can do more than anything else. But before I go off on the tangent, as far as is it going to hurt the system launch? No, and the reason why I say that is because even if it launched on time with the system, it really doesn't have any effect because people were already saying they weren't going to buy the system anyway because they would just go ahead and buy it on PC. And so I'll reiterate something that me and you have been discussing, and basically, like people are looking at the Xbox console launch the wrong way. Like they don't care if you're buying the system. They're only caring about you locking yourself into their ecosystem with Game Pass, no matter how it is that you play their games and what you're playing it on. Now, as far as the systems go, instead of you looking at it as a console, they want you to look at it the same way you look at a tablet, a cell phone, so on and so forth. Like the same way that there's absolutely no differences between um, there's no differences between what a Galaxy and a Galaxy phone, a Pixel phone, and a Plus One can run, but you're going to buy the phone that runs your software the best and has more features than the other one. That's the way they're looking at their systems right now. It's like it doesn't really matter if you get the box, but they're basically saying to you that hey, you buy our box for cheaper. Any games that are multi-platform are going to run and look the best on our box. Or the same way that like even if you're talking it from the computer standpoint, they're looking at it at hey, a computer that's going to cost you like $1,600 and up to build, you're going to be able to play that on our console for under $500. So it's like and it's going to look just as great as it does on the PC. So that's the way they're looking at it. Like if you buy it, you buy it. If you don't, you don't. So yeah, like all the people who are saying that like this is going to kill, this is going to mess them up for launch. These are the same people that before them were saying they weren't going to buy it because they're just going to buy it on PC. So no, it has no effect whatsoever.
All right. I kind of disagree with you on that. And I know I hear what you're saying, right? I understand what you're saying, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't go by what people say online because people lie all the time. So but I definitely think it does hurt the Xbox, And the reason why I say that is Halo, no matter what, is a big title. I think everybody everybody's been fiending for a Halo game, whether they were disappointed or not with it. I think, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Doctor Disrespect might have nailed it the most when he looked at it. He's like, yeah, the campaign is good. I know there's people who play campaign, but I'm all about the multiplayer. As long as the multiplayer is smooth and play smooth, I don't care how it looks. And that's what a lot of people I think are about when it comes to Halo is once that controller's in your hand or that keyboard and mouse and you pick up that battle rifle and that pistol and you start shooting, you get sucked in, right? No matter whether it looks like what we saw recently or if it looks like a masterpiece. It could look brilliant and play a crap and people won't touch it, right? And I think that was one of a lot of the issues with the last one that came out, which had very, very, very good graphics for it being an Xbox One game. But I think I think you and GNS both nailed it. And we, as you stated before, we had discussions. Right now, Microsoft, of course, and they've said it before in a book that was by Shane Black, Seamus Black, or whoever the founding father of the Xbox was. And basically, the whole point of the Xbox, what they wanted was they wanted a Microsoft media system in your house. That was the whole point of it. That's all they wanted. They didn't care about console wars and all that stuff. They wanted to make sure that everybody had one of these in their house. And now that we're moving away from the actual physical and into digital, Game Pass gives them that, right? So now you're looking at subscription. Everybody has a subscription into Microsoft services the same way people have subscriptions into Microsoft Office, right? Office is no longer bought, it's subscriptions now. So this is what Microsoft is about. They're a software company. They love licensing. So yeah, to your point, that is what they want. But with that said, Game Pass is huge. Game Pass is wonderful. Don't get me wrong. It's a great investment. But are people willing to go to Game Pass over Steam, right? Can Steam do the same thing Game Pass does and still be successful? Because when you look at the cloud infrastructure for what Microsoft wants to become, who they really want to compete with is Steam. And let's be honest, it's been like this for a long time since they introduced the Windows Store, back in the early 2000s and so forth. That's who they really, really want to compete with. And does this impact System X? Yes. I think that they won't sell as many systems initially as they could have with that game, with that killer app. But with that said, I still think, at least as of now, hardware sales still matter, right? Because there's still a lot of games that are not on the Xbox that I see coming out on every system and you have to start thinking, well, it has to do with actual market share. And I don't know if whether Game Pass is enough, and we said it before, enough to say, well, we got a market share with digital Game Pass subscribers or not. I don't know. Only thing I can say is that all these companies that are jumping into Game Pass right now that they're working with, if they're seeing good revenue, good money off of not selling games and being on Game Pass and I guess getting money based on plays or however Microsoft shares revenue with them, if that's what they could be profitable for, then yeah, we'll see more games on it and so forth. Otherwise, I don't know. I can't really say.
Well, no, it's definitely been a big thing for developers. Like, not only are they getting like a chunk of money for having their game on that platform for a limited amount of time, most people who have sampled the game will actually go out and they'll purchase it elsewhere, whether they're buying it off the Xbox platform or they're buying it off Steam. Like, there have been tons of developers, both big publisher and indie, have said that their sales actually went up after having their game on Game Pass. So people are actually reaping benefits from it, and I do feel that allowing people to tying their hitching their wagon to a PC and mobile is going to allow them to increase their market share even more. And I do, in the latest rumors that have come out that actually says that the PS5 is having trouble handling certain games because of the something that something that I actually said wasn't a good thing where you have your system overclocked and it's going to be sporadic. I already saw this sort of thing coming. So if that ends up turning out to be true, like if that ends up turning out to be true, and like when people actually start like even though PS5 is definitely going to have some killer apps, like they have some amazing studios under them. I'm pretty sure that Series X will have some down the line because they also have picked up some amazing studios. But when it comes down to the third party games, I think people are going to start seeing like a huge difference between the two. Like I feel at certain points, like unless one company is like paying, unless Sony is paying to like lock caps into or frames per second and things of that nature. I feel when people actually start seeing like when people start seeing the difference between like when people start seeing the difference between like how better the games look and play on one system, I think that will actually start swaying some members over, along with all the other features that the that system currently has.
I think you're right, and I think time will definitely tell on it. Them moving to mobile was definitely a good point. But like we said, I said we'll see. I don't know if this is something financially is profitable for them. The amount of money that's being spent, right? One, to get the games on to the Game Pass, and then two, from what they get from Game Pass. We don't know, right? A lot of their subscribers that went on from Game Pass were people who were paying like $1 and other stuff, right? Like for me, I myself haven't paid them for Game Pass, right? I bought a whole bunch of, Xbox Live Gold cards when they were like $30. I had like 2 years worth of Xbox Live Gold, and when they had the chance, I converted it over to this PC, Xbox, whatever Game Pass Ultimate version of it, right? So I won't have to, myself personally, I won't have to physically start giving them money until sometime next year. So I don't know how much it in terms of benefits from money, how much they're making from it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it's there. Like we said, we all know hardware. You don't make money off of hardware, right? Hardware is all for market share, so that you can get people to make games for it, right? You have to have that market share to entice game developers to bring games to your system, right? And the one thing I wanted to say before we move on is when you said that people are seeing more games purchased, I'm curious to see if that's big titles, because I don't believe that's for big titles. I believe that's only for smaller titles from smaller studios. I don't believe, like, for instance, if you're GTA, if you're Rockstar and you come out with GTA 6, that the first month you come out on Game Pass. Now, we'll see, because Cyberpunk, I believe, is on Game Pass, but Microsoft might have forked over a whole lot of money for that. 27.7, if I remember correctly, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. That's on Game Pass first month it comes out, right, Two Beards? Or am I wrong on that?
No, it's not on there.
It's not on there? Okay, I was incorrect. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think any company
Yeah.
I don't think any company that would put their title out on launch day is going to reap benefits from it.
Yeah, it's afterwards. It's after the initial sale. It's like the box office, right? Where you come out, you make that money, you're good for the first month, and then when the new movie comes out and you start to die out, then you start moving it to like a streaming service, right? I think that's the route that they're basically going with it.
100.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Sorry about that, GNS. I didn't mean to do. We were getting a lot of feedback, so that's why I was asking you to mute right there. But sticking with Xbox, one of the things that I wanted to take a look at right here is recently somebody got their hand on a Xbox Series X controller. Yes, this lovely, beautiful thing. If you look at it, folks, as you can see, it looks like just your normal standard Xbox X controller. Supposedly slightly smaller. But the one difference is there's a little button in the middle. I believe it's called the share button now. Which is cool, because I hate hitting the mouse button and then hitting like Y or this to change the settings for share. But no, that makes sense. But the thing that's interesting is right here. On the packaging, it says Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. So as we were stating before, Two Beards has always been talking about the Lockhart which is a let's just say it's a lower static Xbox system. So it's not as powerful as the Xbox Series X. Think of it as more of your streaming box. It's still strong. It can still play all the games and everything, but it just doesn't have as much in it in terms of hardware. It's like a lower end model, right? And the benefit of it is one, it's going to be a lot lower, right? So especially now during COVID, if you want to get a new system, but yet you don't want to spend, let's say, the $500, $600 maybe for that top tier system, you can still get the lower end of the system, still play all the new games and everything else. You may not get the 120 frames per second 4K lock, but you'll still get it where it'll play and run everything very well, better than what your current system runs. So this is a confirmation, or so it seems, for the Xbox Series S. So I'm going to start off with you two, Beards. Now that they've already ruined the rumor that's been going back and forth, when does Microsoft finally announce the Xbox Series X so that people can start reserving it, as well as the Series X?
Oh, now that it's been ruined, they might as well just go ahead and drop it at this upcoming August show.
Do you think it's still a thing, the August show?
Yes, I think it's still a thing.
Because it was a rumor, as we discussed last week on the show.
Yeah, I think it's a thing. I think it'll happen, and I think they'll go ahead and announce it then.
All right, GNS, your thoughts?
I also think it is still a thing. I think they'll probably have the show at the end of the last week of the month of August, and hopefully a pre-order date, or let it go live right then and there, or at least a week after that, because man, it's getting close to holiday season.
Yeah.
Man. It's time to get this thing out here.
I know, man.
This game of chicken they're doing is crazy.
It is. I remember back in E3, right after E3 would be the time where they would have the normal, all right, time to fill your quantities. Because you got to understand, man, for a lot of these companies, you're doing this chicken game, but a lot of these companies have to sell the system, right? Walmarts, Targets, and all these other places, right? Mm-hmm. They need to know how much they need to order, what they could order, and so forth. You can't be saying, oh, yeah, go ahead and pre-order it 3 weeks before it comes out. You
exactly.
know? Yeah.
And supposedly a Sega game, which we don't cover in this one, but supposedly a Sega game just showed that the Xbox Series X is due to come out November 13th of this month. So it looks like November 13th is the official launch, quote unquote, rumor right now of the Xbox Series X. So that's not that far away. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's about time. Stop delaying it. Get it out there. Let the people know what prices. Even if you don't know what the prices are, start putting out. All right, we're going to start reserving. Start hitting here to get the first email or notification as to when it's going to be available and pricing and all. At least so that you know what numbers you're trying to pull and whether or not what you're producing is even worth it, right? You don't want to be producing millions and you only sell 100,000.
Let me ask you both. Now, like, say that the Series X comes out and they're completely trying to undercut Sony price wise, and it's and for the beefy machine, which knowing everything it can do, it's $400. Now the Lockhart, which is promising a solid 1440p, which is basically 2K instead of 4K, and a solid 60 frames per second. Instead of the up to 120 that the beefy system is supposed to be able to do. But instead of doing it for $100 less, they bring it out at $199 or $250. Now both of them are extremely cheap at this point. Which one are you getting?
Oh,
no, I would get the Series X.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm about performance.
Okay, makes sense.
You're talking to a PC gamer, sir.
Here
what? and from my standpoint, I'm into the Xbox ecosystem more than I am PlayStation. So as far as the PlayStation, I probably would get the discless version of that one.
Oh, 100, 100.
So that's where I fall on it. But yeah, I actually, to be honest, guys, I'm starting to get a little worried about if they actually have enough units or if they're going to be able to, meet the demand.
I think on Xbox's side they'll be fine because of the lack of consumer interest. But I think PlayStation, I think a lot of people are going to go without PlayStations, and because the scalpers that are out there, I'm pretty sure we're going to see the system first day pop up on eBay for 2 to 3 times the amount of what the price actually is, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm expecting for the PlayStation launch. Um,
I might buy
do you
two
guys
to sell on eBay.
do you
I'll
do
be
you
one of
guys
those
think?
scalpers.
Good lord, man. Do you guys think the reason that PS is stopping their is doing the short 5 year range? Do you think they're doing that? Do you think they're instead of just sticking with their system and like having to stretch out from a to like a 7 to 8 year period? Do you think they're stopping just short of 5 because so they can put out a beefier system so they're not the on the low end sort of things when it comes to system power, or do you think like just console refreshes have now just become a thing now?
I'm
I
one.
think,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, GNS. Go say your thought.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it's just gonna be a console refresh, kind of like how I just got with this Pro when Spider-Man launched. I got the PS4 Pro Spider-Man edition, and I'm thinking, oh, I should be good another 4 or 5 years. Ah, nope. Here comes another console. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a refresh for sure.
Yeah,
Um, First off, I don't think that 5 year thing may be true. I think Sony's gonna play it by ear. They may look into making a new system, but whether it comes out within 5 years or not, I think it will all depend on how well this is selling. If it's already selling as well as the PlayStation 4, if not better, I don't see them resetting if there's no need to. And then secondly, we're talking 5 years. In 5 years, a lot of stuff could happen. Everything could be digital streaming in 5 years. We don't know. So I don't know if it's even wise to even make that investment. If anything, they might be going into implementing PlayStations and TVs and other stuff that they have currently because everything might be cloud at that point. We don't know. So I don't think that 5 year thing. I think is just tentative. I think that's just them thinking about if they have to. Push comes to shove, they'll go that route. But if anything, the way everything is getting more expensive, and we don't even know if people, the way this virus is and how the economy is crashing everywhere, we don't even know if a lot of people are even going to buy these systems when they even come out. They might wind up taking a
true,
huge hit from a marketing standpoint because no one can afford them.
very
Except for
true.
like the super rich, because a lot of people, at least in the states, are still having issues. So we'll see. We'll see. Europe will do good because they bounce back. They know what they're supposed to do. But
Yeah, I think
here
you
in the
can,
states, it's
and also
different.
I think there's a lot of ways you can look at that. Is like when if it is basically saying that like the system has a 5 year run, like it doesn't exactly mean that like that they jump to another system after the 5 years. If they've calculated that that they expect to move 120 million units, then maybe they just feel that after that point, like they've made a lot of money, and like they feel that they can go ahead and like stop the production cycle. They've sold more than enough units, and like the next thing that comes out doesn't really have to be a pro. It could be like one of the cheaper slim editions or something like that. After for the technology will be much more cheap and different at that point, so they could relaunch it. They could relaunch a slim version or a smaller version of the PS5 that's cheaper at that point, and it's just like it's still the same system. It's just a new production cycle.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. 5 years
Definitely.
is a lot could change in 5 years, right? Who would have
Tell
thought
me
that
about it,
2020 was going to be the year that it is now? So
man. And
going
all
to
three of
20.
us are going to change a lot in 5 years. Oof.
Oh man,
I'm not looking forward to it.
yeah, I know. So let's go into the next and last topic within gaming. So PlayStation State of Play. we kind of streamed it. We didn't really put out any videos for it, but we streamed it live. We went into it. And one of the games that I really, really thought was really cool was this game, Aeon Must Die. It looked really, really cool. So the interesting note is that after PlayStation State of Play came in, many articles. This one is by Polygon, but a lot of articles came out from State of Play because another video came out with the similar trailer with different looks to the trailer, but different footage too. And in it, the YouTube description of it said, "People who worked on every shot of this are no longer with the company holding IP rights. Some of them were not even paid for their work. This trailer has pending conflict of IP. The real IP for the game was stolen from the creators via foul play." And the person, of course, went into the Dropbox. Anybody could go into it. They put in the cache. Keep in mind, this is, I think, from Germany, so you might have to translate a lot of it. But you could see them reaching out to the publishers about how they're not getting paid and all these horrible things that they're doing to try to steal their IP, and how they're working basically for free and no one's getting paid for it, and everybody's being. It's a horrible, horrible story when you go into everything for it. And this saddens me too to hear that Focus puts out the statement. And let's real quickly take a look at the statement itself. Focus says, Focus Home Interactive has always praised and supported all partners, studios, and developers who compose the creative teams. We pride ourselves on treating our own employees and third-party developers fairly and respectfully, and this will not change. Focus Interactive was informed of serious allegations raised by some of the developers at Limestone who have worked on the creation of the video game Aeon Must Die. These grievances are directed at Limestone, their direct employer. As the publisher of the game, Focus is carefully looking into these allegations and will draw the necessary conclusions. If they are proved to be well-founded, then take all appropriate measures. No further comment will be shared until we have a clear and complete view of the matter. But in that folder, we literally see letters coming from the employees directly to Focus, telling them about it, and Focus saying, "We'll look into it," or whatever, "we'll get back to you," and never doing so. But once it goes out into the opening, and this is a shame because I love a lot of the games that Focus has been putting out, like one being Other Side, two being what's that game we played? Yes. And it's like, dude, this is some shitty practices. So I'm going to go to you, GNS, first. Why is this allowed? How can you make a game and put out a game and not pay the employees that worked on the game itself? How is this still possible in 2020?
I don't know how it's still possible. It definitely shows the need for some type of unified union worldwide to make sure that these things aren't happening. This is pretty much like digital slave labor, in my opinion. You're getting something for nothing, and it's just crazy that when the story leaked, that then Focus comes out and was like, "Oh, we're against this, and we don't want this happening, and we care about our partners." And I'm like, man, and then you see all the emails and everything right there. It's like, what are you doing? Like, and then it kind of makes you like not want to support that publisher anymore when you see it. So that kind of makes you wonder what else has been going on that we don't even know about, like things that might have happened during the development of some of the games that we like that have come from them. So I don't know, man. I just want to see the day where people can be treated fairly, especially in this space, because there's a lot of work that goes into this, a lot of hours, a lot of being away from home and friends and families, that their time that they're pouring into development of these games. And to see this, man, it's I think this is one of the worst stories that I've read about this ever, and this is pretty bad.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad. So
it does look.
Like he says, no one, and this is Hiroshkin, who head of the studio, says no one wants to work without weekends. Wants to work without weekends and on amphetamines. They're drugging themselves,
Wow.
working 12 to 16 hour days for more than a year with only 2 days a month off. So imagine working
Yep.
12 to 16 hours a day and you only get 2 days off a month.
That's crazy,
That's
man.
fucking insane.
It is. Go ahead, Tiberius, your thoughts.
Talk about killing somebody's passion and something that they love. Like I remember I was laughing about how like when the BioWare guys left after EA and the one just decided to make craft beers and stuff like that. Like they didn't even decide to go back into gaming again. And it's like when you read about stuff like this, it's like it also takes me back to back in the day where EA employees, like when the spouses of a bunch of EA employees hit them with a class action lawsuit because they were literally going for like months at a time without seeing their loved ones. Like EA was actually making them stay there on the premises to create games, so they weren't even like going home, which is insane.
Yeah.
At that point. So,
Yeah.
It's just unreal, man.
so like yeah, it doesn't it's beyond super shitty, but it's just what I've come to expect. Like even in my little small like point in time of working for a big video game company, like I mainly was working like 12 to 14 hour days like every day almost. So it's like and I'm not like I wasn't like somebody who was big like a developer or an artist or something like that. So I can imagine what those guys were working. So like so I'm not surprised by it. I'm not even surprised by the fact that they withheld payment, didn't pay them for all their work, and even like behind their backs was trying to steal their content in their company. It's just how shitty everything is. And like for all the people out there who will always squawk about the free market will fix itself, and this is why we don't need rules and regulations and unions because the free market will always fix itself.
Oh yeah.
Free market will do. Like they're looking like, oh, so you can treat your employees that way, huh? We'll just treat ours worse. The free market wins. That's how it's going down,
As you're killing the people that are working for you.
right?
Get my game out. It's more important than your life.
Yep, it's not the best choice.
It's Spacer's choice.
Apologize. Let's rerun that again. I was on mute. So, real quickly, Special says in chat, regular human rights, smack my head, but don't get me started. I work for a union. And, yep, I see. I lost you guys. Nope, I came back. I was on mute, Special. And I agree with them. And the thing I have to look at this, and so when we peer and we look at different things and we start to empathize, my gosh, get the words out, Con, with others, you do it from your own experience, right? And I look at it from American views. And even though it doesn't seem like we're free, I still have the understanding that a lot of the rights that I have as American aren't the same rights that a lot of other countries share, right? And I don't know if anything is different in like Germany and so forth, but regardless, in the country, no human should have to be subjugated to this, right? No one should. And this to me it's just disgusting, right? And to do this with like even further slap in the face not to even pay them. It's even worse.
Yeah. How are they eating?
I don't know. Can you Zesco says she can't hear us at all. That's weird. Oh no. Special says we're back. So maybe that was before. Okay, I guess we're good now. Are we good? Check. Are we good? Can you guys hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you. So I don't know. It just saddens me that, especially for gaming, it saddens me to hear these stories, especially when you look at this game, right, and you're like, wow, this game looks freaking amazing. And for those who aren't familiar, let me real quickly play this game real quick so you can see a little bit of the gameplay for it. The game looks like, from a artistic standpoint, the game looks beautiful. It looks beautiful, and it's like I saw this and I'm like, dude, this game looks great. This is the type of game I want to get my hands on and play. But then you get the whole backstory of the developers, and it just spoils the whole game for you. It's like I don't even want to support it no more. It just,
I was loving the art in this also.
Yeah, it's just, it just ruins it for me, and it's like, come on, man, why does it have to be like this? Why are we in 2020? Why are we still doing slave labor for freaking video game development? These are talented people. This isn't a skill that you just pick Joe Schmo off of the ground to go do. Not everyone can write code and develop or design, do 3D animation and graphics. These are specified skills that require payment. Pay these guys,
man.
Yeah.
You're making billions off of this, and you can't pay these guys the bare minimum? Come on, man.
I don't know why shitty people always end up getting the highest positions that or end up being the ones in power when it comes to these sort of things. Maybe because they're shitty, that's how they get to the point where they can make these sort of decisions and treat everybody else like crap. Like a side note that kind of reminds me of like when Konami started deciding that they didn't want to be in video games anymore, and like you started hearing like after they had their fallout with Kojima, and then you started hearing shit like the people who were still there who were game devs, they were making them do shit like clean the bathroom and clean the cafeteria and stuff like that. And I'm like, how fucked up is that?
Yeah.
And Zesco says, okay, cool, she changed her name. Zesco said greed. Shitty people are willing to do whatever it takes to be on the top. And she's 100% correct on that. But to your point, could you imagine if you're like, yeah, I was one of the developers behind Last of Us 2. So what do you do now? Yeah, I clean toilets.
Yeah, like, how fucked up is that, right?
Your game sold billions. Why are you cleaning toilets? That's what the company wants. That's what Naughty Dog wants. They want us to clean toilets, so we clean toilets.
Yeah, it's like your game your game and your story design made us hundreds of millions of dollars. Go pick up my son from school. grab me a coffee on the way back.
Oh man.
Oh god.
Oh goodness gracious. All right, so the last one, I don't know, it might be pretty quick before we go to our what the fuck of the week. So, and a lot of people, on this show, we sometimes talk politics, we sometimes don't. But currently, right now, from the Democratic Party, we were trying to decide who was Joe Biden going to pick as his VP. People were wondering. A lot of people were thinking Kamala Harris. Me and Two Bears were actually thinking Susan Rice, especially with her selling all of her stocks in Netflix. It kind of made us think that, yeah, maybe it might be her. But ultimately, the decision was made, I believe, on Wednesday or Thursday. I believe it was Wednesday. And Kamala Harris is now the running mate for Joe Biden on the Democratic ticket coming from the election. So with that said, of course, we see a whole bunch of ads and things now trying to target Kamala Harris, saying that she wasn't born. She's not a U.S. citizen. We got people talking about how she's not black because her father's Jamaican and her mother is Indian, and it's just so much other stuff. But give me one moment. I'm going to, before we go to anything, I forgot to get this one thing. I'm going to get a clip real quick, and it comes from who we like to call Uncle Roland Martin, as I like to say. And I think Roland really nailed it. Give me one moment. Let me line it up real quick, and then we'll talk about it when it comes to elections. And this, of course, pertains to a lot of people in America. So this is for you guys. But give me one moment. Let me let's go forward, and let's unmute. Yeah, Roland's funny, man. Roland's funny. So we're going to do it. And we're going to play a little Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Didn't go to
so let's go to it real quick.
This way. I saw this comment on YouTube by Mike Locke, and he said, well, Biden, Harris aren't the ones to believe in. Let me just, I said it on Instagram, and I said it now. Y'all, it's two choices. Y'all are more than happy to bring up the Green Party and the Libertarian Party. And anybody else, they ain't got no shot. It's two choices. Trump, Pence, Biden, Harris.
Right.
Your thinking should be, of those two choices, which one am I more likely to be able to talk with and push to get what I want? Trump, Pence, or Biden, Harris?
That's right.
This is not saying, oh, I'm in love with Trump, Pence, and Biden, Harris.
Exactly.
This is not about I'm good with Trump, Pence, and Biden, Harris. What this is about is, who am I likely to see in voter suppression? Trump, Pence, or Biden, Harris? Who am I likely to see support police consent decrees? Trump, Pence, or Biden, Harris? Who am I more likely to see with a housing plan to increase black home ownership? Trump, Pence, Biden, Harris. Who am I more likely to see put in their budget funds to deal with black women and the troubling issue of having children? Trump, Pence.
That's right.
The so-called pro-lifers, and Biden, Harris. Who am I more likely to see reinstate the Obama-era law that protected black people from auto discrimination? The team that actually reversed it, Trump, Pence, or Biden, Harris, that actually had it passed when he was vice president? Who is more likely going to advance civil rights? Trump, Pence, who's rolling it back, or Biden, Harris?
So, folks, we got an election coming up, and the main point I wanted to say is this, and there's a lot of people, and this is the reason why I brought this one article. I understand that people have different views on a lot of stuff, and I understand politics is a big thing for a lot of people, but here's the facts for it, folks. Voting matters. Voting is important. It's one thing that we talk on this show a lot about. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear a lot of it. But this is the point that comes in. They want to take away your right to vote for a reason. Right? They want to take away your right to vote for a reason because it actually matters. It's actually worth something. I'm tired of people saying, well, I don't agree with this person. I don't agree with that person. So I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to vote. I'm just going to let it go. And then bitch and complain when everything is just shit 6 months, 1 year, 4 years, 3 years later, right? If you didn't vote, you have no fucking say in what's happening right now. Whether it's people rioting, whether it's COVID ravaging, whether it's mandatory, non-mandatory to wear masks, you have no say in any of it because your ass didn't make a choice. It's very simple. Trump, Pence, as Roland said, Trump, Pence, or Biden, Harris. You think about what you want and you figure out who of the two is going to best give you what you want. If your concern is COVID, who is the best group to help fix this issue? And that's how you vote. It's simple as that. I don't want to hear about Kamala Harris and what she did with black people, as an AG. I don't fucking care. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. Because guess what, folks? What we're in now, if you enjoy how you're living now, then go ahead and vote Trump Pence. That's your choice. I don't. I'm not voting for those fuckers. And I'll lay that down right now. I'm not voting for those fuckers. I need to see some type of change from what we are. Because we're on a decline, and it's declining faster and faster and faster. Go ahead, Gina. What's your thoughts on Kamala Harris and voting come November?
I 100% back everything you just said. Make an educated, it's not really an educated guess. Make an educated decision. What's best going to be the best possible scenario for you and your family if you have a family. And if you, just like my man Roland Martin, Uncle Roland, just measured it out, I can't tell people who to vote for or whatever. It's it's a free country. Vote for who you want to vote for. I'm getting pissed more I'm talking about it. But you have to do something. You have to vote. And if you're not able to vote, talk to somebody that is able to vote. Get the word out. Literally make people go and vote. You have to. If not, we're going to be in for something way worse for the next 4 years, and we might not even have a country anymore at this rate. So yeah, it something has to be done. Voting has to happen, and don't fall into the whole mail-in ballot and all of that crap. Just do it. Just like Nike, just do it. Just get up, go and vote, or do the mail-in, or however you can vote. It's so important that you do that. If not, it's like saying I don't give a fuck, to be honest. So something has to change, man, and we can't keep doing this. Can't keep doing this.
Thank you, sir. Two Beards. Your thoughts, sir. You're on mute, by the way. I guess we lost Two Beards.
I completely agree with both of you. Like, I've told you this, guys, a ton of times, and how many times I've had the discussion with other people who said that they're not going to vote because of the choices that are out there, and it's like, and there's a lot of people who they're sick and tired of voting for the lesser of two evils all the time, and I'm trying to tell them like what could be waiting on the other side if the so-called if the bigger evil is the one who gets if the bigger evil is the one who's in control of everything. So like a lot of people who feel that this is beyond them because they can just go ahead and deal with economics and build a society with inside of society. So I'm always coming back at them and like, what are you going to do when rules that were put into place that actually allowed you to do these sort of things are revoked and taken away from you? What happens when like you're not allowed the right to assembly, you're not allowed the right to property, to certain things, like your rights and freedoms slowly get chipped away, to the point like it's easier to say that nobody's going to treat you a certain way or do certain things to you, but like if you don't have any rights or laws protecting you, or basically even like simple things that allow you to try to advance in society, like your whole quality of life is going to get shittier and shittier than even what it is right now. So I agree with both of you and everything you were saying. My biggest problem though is that Mike Pence said something like he really released some dynamite. I sent the clip to UConn. I think you should play it right now for the audience. And it's because of what he said in that clip. I think I don't know if they'll be able to come back, if they'll be able to.
God. Why you have me play this clip? Why you have me play this clip?
I don't know if they'll be able to fight against this dog.
By the way, folks, this is I know which clip this is already. This is the silliest ish ever that he wants me to play. So let's listen to Mike Pence talk about meat.
Senator Kamala Harris said she would change the dietary guidelines of this country to reduce the amount of red meat Americans can eat. Well, I've got some red meat for you. We're not going to let Joe Biden and Kamala Harris cut America's meat. Senator Kamala Harris said she would change the dietary.
How do you fight that, yo?
There you go, folks. All about the meat. It's all about
How do you
the
fight
meat.
that? Oh no, man! They may have got my vote.
I know you're playing now.
See, that's how they converted. That's how they converted Kanye and all the others. They heard that speech, and it was like everything made sense. We're not gonna cut America's meat. Good fucking lord. No, like their whole fucking strategy against like this is one of the best times where like our picks for the Democrats is Biden being our picks for Democrats Biden being a Diet Cola Republican, and like Kamala being a moderate Democrat with like small hints of progressiveness to her, because all the shit that they're firing at them, like even the people who are on their side, they don't believe that shit because they know it's not true. How are you going to say that the man who's the fucking author of the crime bill is going to defund police? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, nobody believes that shit.
No.
It's like this man is like flat out said, even in a fucking pandemic, he said he's not supporting Medicare for all, and you're trying to paint him as radical left. It's like, dog, like this whole strategy that you have was built for you were expecting every candidates to be in office because it's not working. Like it's clown shit. So like this has been a gift wrap bow so far. I wish that the elections were taking place tomorrow so we could already have this fucking clown out of office. But like but yeah, quite enjoyable. They're not going to cut our meat. Remember that, guys? Put that shit on the shirt. They're not cutting our meat.
So real quickly in chat, Mega, welcome to the stream, says people are tired of status quo. Zesco says, okay, so I don't want to ever hear that bullshit again. All right, so so we probably lost a few people. That's fine. I know a lot of people don't want to talk, political, especially when you talk about Trump. But you know what? I gotta call it what it is, and it's not that you just hate Trump to hate Trump. No, I hate Trump because of where we are right now, and the bullshit and dumb answers that this motherfucker gives, and the consistent lies. And it's not the alt left. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I vote for whoever I feel will handle my issues the best. Whether it's a Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. I voted on both sides of the party multiple times. It doesn't matter to me. I vote for whichever candidate I feel is the best candidate for the job at that time. And right now, Trump is not the best candidate or the best person to be running this country, especially now with all the shit that's been happening in 2020. But
you gotta be against us having our meat cut, though.
Oh god. God. Oh god. So let's go to our what the fuck of the week real quick. Let's shut this down before we get some more meat talk. So I was looking at this guy from Alabama, right? And he was literally Chappelle's Clinton Bixby character to a T. And it was about taking down monuments in Alabama that were Confederate based. But then, once again, I took a look at Florida, and Florida said, hold my beer. So, everybody knows what's happening in Florida right now, right? Does everybody know? All right, let me tell everybody what's happening right now in Florida, right? So we got this thing called COVID, right? It's this little virus that seems to be affecting a little bit of people. Only 5.3 million people have been affected. Only close to 168,000 deaths. It's small fries, but it is
Just
what
a
it
little
is.
bit.
Just a little bit, all right, all right. And in the beginning, we had New York, which was the epicenter of the virus, but now it's Florida, folks. Florida, 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 Florida. Let's look at that. Oh yeah, look at that wonderful Florida. Yep, all of the South, a lot of Florida is hit. The hospitals are overran with people who are infected. Everybody wants to calm the virus down so that we could go back to the status quo, as Mega was stating. So we could do the normal, right? But not Florida, folks. Even though Florida's seeing the highest amount of coronavirus cases, what do we hear in Florida? That's right, we get Sheriff Mr. Bill Woods, who says, "No, I ban deputies and visitors from wearing facial masks." That's right! In Florida, if you want to come into the sheriff's office and you want to talk about, your husband that's beating you or being robbed, and you got a mask on because, you're one of them high-risk people, you can't come in. You can't come in. No. So let's read this article real quick. Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods says no to face masks. According to an email to his staff, Woods says deputies and visitors to the office will not be allowed to wear face masks. Since the beginning of the pandemic, the operation of this office has not changed, and no wearing of face masks has been put into place, wrote Woods. Just at 9,000 employees, our number of cases so far have proven that current way we are approaching the issue is working. So, okay. So there's an exception to the rule, like having to wear your mask at the county courthouse, the jail, and public and private schools that require mass hospitals when deputies are responding to nursing homes and address where it's known a COVID-19 alert or on call that involves high-risk elderly people. Once that action is required, the mask is complete. The masks are to be removed immediately. No masks. Sheriff Woods says if any of his staff are confronted by someone who takes issue with them not wearing a mask, they are to respond, "I am not required to wear a mask, nor will I," per the order of the sheriff, before walking away. Visitors to the sheriff's office or one of their district offices are also required to remove their masks. Yes, remove their masks. In the light of current events, when it comes to sentiment and or hatred toward law enforcement in our county today, this is being done to ensure that there's a clear communication for identification purpose of any individual walking into a lobby. If a visitor does not want to remove their mask, they will be asked to leave. If they do not want to wait in the lobby with other people not wearing a mask, staff will take that person's cell phone so they can wait outside. Take their cell phone number. I apologize. Now I can already hear the whining, and just so you know, I did not make this decision easily, and I have weighed it out for the past 2 weeks, says Sheriff Woods. This is no longer a debate, nor is up for discussion. Sheriff Woods says, while there are a number of medical professionals advising for use of face masks, I can find the exact same amount of professionals that say why we shouldn't.
Yeah.
The Center for Disease Control recommends the use of masks in public settings. Masks are recommended as a simple barrier to help prevent respiratory droplets from traveling into the air and onto other people when the person wearing the mask coughs, sneezes, talks, or raises their voice, which Sheriff Woods notes as another exception, saying that if a human resource following the CDC guidelines tells a deputy to wear a mask in a certain situation, they need to. In the city of Ocala had previously enacted a face mask ordinance for people entering businesses and other enclosed public spaces in city limits. The order was vetoed by Ocala City Mayor Kent Guin on August 10th. The city of Ocala City Council could renew the order of supermajority vote at the next meeting, a possibility Sheriff Woods considers to be likely. So there goes our what the fuck of the week. Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods says no masks in any of his offices. And I go to you, GNS. What are your thoughts?
Okay, what is your over under for you guys and for people in the chat? What's your over under for him contracting COVID? I think it's highly. I'm going 90-10. He's gonna catch this thing.
I can see that. I can see that happening. Unless he's one of those people who are all talk and he's actually wearing the mask behind closed doors.
Behind the scenes.
And he's just putting on all the bravado for the newspaper and TV.
And my second thing is that I'm completely convinced that I'm completely convinced that the portal to hell is located in Florida.
I can see that.
That's my only explanation for anything that's going on in Florida right now.
That makes sense.
And that's all I have to say about it.
All right, so real quickly, what we have here, this is Marion, Florida. This is the actual look right now. COVID cases. Keep in mind, a lot of this stuff can't be updated because the White House now funnels a lot of this data.
Mm-hmm.
Zesco, by the way, to Eugene, that says 85-15, so 85%.
All right.
Yeah, that's
okay. Close to mine. All right. Right on. Right on.
So
I like that number.
So here you go. Number of stat beds 829. Number of licensed beds 910. Number of ICU beds 116. So there you go. There you go. The population and all the cases, and as we can see, they had about 200 new cases about 5 days ago. Yeah. Yeah.
This is ridiculous, man.
Oh god.
557,000 of the people there have been confirmed with 8,913% deaths. Fatality rate of 1.6%. 4 million tested. And yeah. There you go, folks. Go ahead, Tiberius, your thoughts on no mask in my office.
Mr. No Mask himself.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's so crazy. It's like you can't help but laugh, man.
These are. Oh god, I had a whole Law and Order COVID edition skit, but I can't even do it. I laugh. Dog, this is just like showing how we've reached peak insanity in this country. Like what has now become a political war front and ideology is wearing a mask. And it's one of those things where let's just forget all the data. Let's just forget how well countries outside of the U.S. who have been following these procedures have been doing. Let's say it's a placebo. Let's say it doesn't do anything. It's not hurting you.
Just
like it's not killing you.
Sir, I have a breathing condition.
Yeah, it's called asshole lion motherfucker. It's very contagious.
Did you guys see that video where the doctor put on like multiple masks and all of this stuff, and how his breathing, his oxygen levels were still normal?
It was all fake. It's a hoax.
Fake.
Oh, it's fake.
It's a hoax.
Okay.
It's all fake.
That's not real science, sir.
It's not real science, sir.
Okay.
As per Trump.
I got
everything that we
man.
off of a reality TV show, man, who is infallible and knows everything. That's where you get your true science. But yeah,
For-
I'm sorry, I couldn't even do my skit. I can't help but laugh at this guy from everything to how he uh
Look at him.
yeah, you see look, you said it before I could. So yeah, I'm just gonna pass this off to you, man.
As Zesco says, it's impinging on my rights. Last time I heard, this was America. Land of the free. You're not taking my rights away from me by making me wear a mask.
This is ridiculous, man.
Oh, God. Political statement over wearing a fucking mask. But no, you still have to wear a shirt when you go into a business, into a store to buy. You still have to wear shoes. Those are required. But no one cries about that, right? Or you're not allowed to wear jeans into certain restaurants. You have to wear, dress pants, shirt, and tie. No one wants to argue about that. Or you're not allowed to bring your rifles or your guns into my establishment. No one wants to want to cry about that. But a mask that could potentially keep you from killing me.
You've crossed the line,
You
sir.
crossed the line right there. Yep, sir. That's right. As Zesco said, you forget the Costco guy.
Oh yeah, to the
Yeah.
76-year-old lady.
Yes.
I'm sorry, man. I have real bad reactions to things. And if me and my wife were like in line, and like some old lady was in front of us, and she asked him to please stop doing that, and he freaked out and like started being like, I feel threatened, walking like pumping his chest out. I'd seriously probably jab him in his neck. Like I can't help it. Like
that one, yeah, that one would be worth going in for. First
Yeah.
trip to the jail for punching a dude in the throat.
I mean,
That'd be worth it.
sorry, it's just a reaction. He felt threatened, and I felt the need to make him feel threatened. Like I I couldn't stop it.
Oh God.
Oh, shit.
Oh my goodness. All right, folks. Fucking Florida. Fucking Florida. All right, folks. I want to say thank you to everybody for coming out. For all those who are listening, yeah, this week was a little bit different. We went on YouTube. It's trying something different this week, as stated before in an earlier show, over Twitch. We should be back to Twitch by next week, but depending on how everything goes, we wanted to try something new, see how it works, see how everything goes, and I think on YouTube it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too shabby. What did you gentlemen think of streaming on YouTube?
Not bad at all.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty dope.
I mean, I can't speak for the back end of things.
Yeah, I know. Chat, if you could let me know. For those who have seen both the Twitch and the YouTube, can you let me know if was there any real differences? Did you see improvement or degradation? Please let me know in chat below. What happened. Just trying something new. Maybe next week we might go on to Facebook gaming or something and do a Facebook posting. Maybe. You never know. We might do it. Hey, we gotta look at all options. All options. And then we could get banned because we talk bad about the president, and then we could get our show permanently banned from Facebook.
Man, I can only imagine.
That's a possibility.
So, Mr. GNS, why don't you tell the lovely, lovely fans out there where they can contact you if they want to reach you?
You can find me on Twitter at ArtfullyNerd or GNS, Instagram, Twitch.tv, or SoundCloud at Ghetto Nerd Society. Probably this upcoming week for a day or two, I'm gonna stream some more Ghost of Tsushima and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Awesome. And Zesco in chat said, yeah, it looks good, sounds good, which is awesome. Good to hear. Excellent to hear. Two Beards, why don't you tell the people what you're up to and what you're doing?
I am currently drawing comics and illustrating and making some and working away on pitches that hopefully get picked up by a streaming service. You can find me on Twitter at Scorpio Report or you can type in Bitsaki. Either one of them will lead you to me, or you can find me on Instagram under Bitsake. Uh, and yeah, I hope to finally soon start posting stuff again, like work wise and commission stuff wise, and some just like thought process sketches to show you guys what I've been working on. I also wanted to stress how important it is that everybody gets out and vote. Like we have to do the right thing. We have to make the right decision. Do not let our meat get cut. We we don't want Americans meat getting cut. Like
What a phrase, man.
right?
Cut our
Yeah.
meats.
And on to you, sir. Khan, where can they find you?
Well, I am Swole Squirrel for the immediate future. You can find Swole Squirrel on, on Twitter under at Moebees, Moebees. You can find me. You can discuss. That's my personal. There, we could have conversations. We could talk. I post a lot of video game, political, everything there. Please, follow me. Let's have discussions. Let's talk. Whatever you want. You can always find me there, aka Swollen Squirrel. But if you want to find more about the show, you can find us on Twitter under ARN Games, ARN Games. You could also find us on YouTube, where we're currently streaming today, and on Twitch under twitch.tv/ARNGM, ARNGM, and the same for YouTube. Just look up ARNGM. Remember, we're here every Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Just come by and definitely be part of the conversation. And if you listen to our Twitter under ARN Games, it'll keep you up to date on everything, our shows, when they come out, when new videos come out, all that good stuff. And yeah, folks, I want to say thank you to my wonderful co-host. I thought it was pretty good, and I just want to let you know that, as Terry Allen Cruz tweeted earlier today, meat lives matter, right? We can't let vegetable lives be vegetable lives better. Meat lives matter too.
I also would like to send a shout out to Special Says. She's a good friend of mine, even though I haven't met her in real life. I chop it up with her all the time on Twitter and on Twitch. She has a dope podcast. Oh my God, I forgot the name of the podcast.
Damn, bro.
Sorry, Special. What to hear, or who to hear? Who to hear? It's on all podcast streaming services. It's on Twitch live every Wednesday, and it's really dope. Really dope playlist. It's pretty much previewing new and up special delivery. Shoot myself in the head.
My goodness, dude. This is like the worst pitch ever.
It's the worst pitch ever, but if you definitely check her out. Okay, who to hear on Twitch, special delivery on the podcast. Check her out. It's some really dope music. We're always shooting each other music back and forth and stuff like that. She's a really dope, down-to-earth person. Check out her content. Really dope stuff.
Definitely will.
Coming by and,
Thank you.
I'll definitely check it out. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I will too. Thank you very much for being a guest, and definitely for being in chat today. And for all those, remember the episode should be up on Tuesday on all your favorite clients, whether it's be Spotify, iTunes, etc. And our Twitter. We also have a list of all the podcast URLs that you go to, and then also if you're on our Twitch !podcast, we'll give you a link to all of our podcasts. I will move it to the bottom underneath of the viewing, so you can just click on the link there. As stated before, we are in transition of moving stuff over. The one thing that I was supposed to do, my two co-hosts never sent me the information, so it is yet delayed yet again for a week because they haven't given me what I asked for them in order to get it out on time. So
Not bad. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah, boomer brain. But But I want to say thank you to everybody for coming out. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back again next Friday. Evidently, it will not be GNS. GNS is leaving us. Congratulations, GNS, on the anniversary, sir. And
yes, sir. 20 years in, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, sir. And
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll it'll probably be me and Two Beers next week, which will be very interesting. We'll probably go in a long, 2-hour conversations on PlayStation and Sony, as we usually do. But until then, folks, make sure you shoot the shit, don't be shit. Fuck you, Mr. Terry Allen Cruz.
Fuck you, Jason Whitlock.
Fuck you, Candace Owens.
Trinity has been completed.
Kill fedoras, sir. Fedoras are no longer cool. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
Oh my God. Chat says congratulations, GNS.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Peace out, everybody.
All right,
Peace.
shit, don't be it.